right, what's going on, Diablo fans? It looks like they gave a huge announcement today, Blizzard did, in which we got some news on ladder, patch 2.4, as well as the new way they're doing the Diablo clone. So let's go into these notes right away and get into it. All right, so the first thing I want to mention is that I will put a link to this page down below, as well as I will also put a link for the last one of these that we did, because technically we're comparing that to this as far as their last patch notes. Anyways, let's get right into it. All right, so the upcoming PTR 2.4 test goes live on March 2nd. That is Wednesday, and we'll focus on ladder functionality, Uber Diablo updates and additional balance changes, and bug fixes since our previous PTR. This is a continuation of our previous PTR, so any balance changes mentioned here on top of the changes that were already live our last PTR. You can refresh yourself in the specific changes we made so far here. We look forward to your participation in the PTR and hope players continue to share feedback. With your help, we can continue the legacy of making Diablo 2 Resurrected the ARPG we all cherish. All right, focus and details for the PTR. Thank you for outpouring of feedback on some of these first changes made to Diablo 2 in over a decade. We return to you with adjustments to those changes based on your thoughts, opinions, and survey answers. With this round of changes, we spent most of our efforts in the areas where the feedback was overwhelmingly unified, as well as some areas where we might not have pushed hard enough for a meaningful change. We would love to hear more of your thoughts on these iterations. As we progress through this PTR, please be aware there may be periodic maintenances, outages, hot fixes, or minor patches. All the changes implemented in this PTR are not in stone. We want to gauge reception and feedback on these changes before we make them final for live. We encourage our PTR participants to explore and play the following content updates. Ladder season. When you make your new character on PTR, do ladder. Uber Diablo updates, so try to spawn Ubers if you can, and various balance updates, so give everything a try. Offline single player note: patch 2.4 introduces changes to character save data as a result of our new balance changes. A new folder has been created to support player testing offline content. Players will now be able to test classes from previous versions of Diablo 2 Resurrected by importing those character files into this folder. Please leave your feedback in the PTR feedback forum. If you discover any bugs, please report them in the PTR bug report forum. So without further ado, let's dive into these new changes. Yes! Ladder testing. We're very excited to invite you to test the ladder functionality in the PTR. The Diablo 2 Resurrected ladder launch represents an optional ranked competitive system of the game through a series of modes available to select from with a fresh ladder-specific characters. Each mode will have their own leaderboard, where players compete to strategically gain experience with a limited time frame while having access to ladder-specific content. When ladder season ends, the leaderboard's ranking will reset, transitioning characters to non-ladder mode, giving players an opportunity to store their hard-earned treasured loot as a new ladder season awaits them. For PTR tests, we would love you to focus your attention on the presentation of the ladder in the front end and the way the new balance changes impact ladder play. Feature details. Ladder is now available during testing, and the team will be emulating a ladder season start and end during the PTR. Players can use /ladder and /help ladder for chat commands to retrieve season start and end information. Ladder information is made available in the leaderboard UI, and for console, players will be updated upon loading into each game. At the end of a season, your ladder character will be converted into a non-ladder character, along with any ladder character exclusive items your character has equipped in their inventory. Once the season ends, you will have until the start of the season after the next. Once the season ends, you have until the start of the season after next to retrieve items from your seasonal ladder shared stash tab to bring into your normal online play. For example, once Season 1 ends, you have until Season 3 begins to retrieve items from your Season 1 stash. Any items not retrieved will be lost forever. Uber Diablo changes. The way players summon Uber Diablo in Diablo 2 Resurrected today will remain the same as it was first introduced by version 1.10, by selling Stone of Jordan rings. However, we have made some changes to how and where the progress is calculated, and that we hope will make the experience better for the entire community. We're eager to hear your feedback. Uber Diablo progresses for each game type and will now be kept by the regional database. Yes, kitty. You want me to throw the ball with you? You want to come here and say hi? She likes to play fetch, and she wants me to play fetch, but I can't do that right now. Progress towards Orb Diablo is now tracked per game type, giving us a total of 8 progressions being tracked. Those being Classic, Classic Hardcore, Classic Ladder, Classic Hardcore Ladder, Expansion, Expansion Hardcore, Expansion Ladder, Expansion Hardcore Ladder. Given this change, we have added new messaging for players to help them anticipate when Uber Diablo may spawn. This messaging will be sent out to all players in the region at certain tiers of progress and can be manually checked by using /Uber Diablo chat command. We hope these changes allow more players to get experience in the true tier that is Uber Diablo. Very interesting. Class changes. So they still didn't say how many SOJs it's going to be, if it's going to be the same, but it is going to be a regional database. So no more IP, regional. So I don't know if that means specifically the region is, for example, ladder, softcore, right? Or if that region means America's ladder softcore. They did list these here, so I guess these are the regions. Yeah, so these are the regions. So it is ladder softcore, ladder hardcore, and so on and so forth. So that's the new IP system, if you will. It's just, if you're on ladder, then ladder softcore, then every SOJ sold goes towards that and is counted for that for everybody. Which is great. I like that. We'll see what that ends up working out to be as far as Annies and everybody getting them. And if it makes it easier for everybody, too easy for everybody, we'll see. But let's take a look at these class changes. Animation speed for Impale increased by 30%. Impale was very slow. We tested it. It was way too slow to be compared to things like Smite or anything for like Ubers, because Impale is a not missing skill. No attack ratings needed. We'll see if 30% is good enough. I mean, it was slow. It needed to be up by like 200%. It was crazy slow, but we'll check it out and we'll see how that works for doing like Ubers and things like that. Plague Javelin. We never tested Plague Javelin, but it looks like it got a decent buff. Multiple shots now gets a synergy for Guided Arrow, 12% physical damage per level, which is a huge buff. That's good. Immolation Arrow, cooldown reduced by 40%, sure. Guided Arrow gets a synergy from multiple shot, so Guided Arrow and multiple shot both get synergies from each other and get a buff, which is good. Strafe, same thing, got a buff from getting synergies from multiple shot and Guided Arrow. Physical bow skills. Developers say the physical bow skills don't have enough synergies like hold and fire bow skills do. We hope that giving some synergies to the physical bow skills help them remain valuable. I hope so too. Assassin, I hated playing the melee assassin so much. Wake of Inferno adds yards calculation to the tooltip, okay. And Blade Fury attack rating increased by 10%. Okay, we'll test that. Blade Fury is actually a decent build. Barbarian, leap attack. Leap attack now. Barbarian now deals extra physical damage to surrounding enemies within a range of 4.6 yards when landing with leap attack. Damage scales per level. Is that an AoE now? Does it AoE hit everything in 4.6 yards? If that's true, then getting a melee and AoE attack is huge, and that's very nice. Hopefully the damage scales well. Modified leap and leap attack jump to give a smoother trajectory that should keep the Barbarian on screen at all times and reduce the jerkiness when he lands. I'm going to test that. That's going to be a fun build. Leap and leap attack now have a minimum jump height and duration. Increase mana cost of leap attack from 9 to 10. Okay. The developers say we saw an opportunity to make leap attack more viable by changing the fantasy to make leap itself an attack. By doing this, we feel like the combat viability of the skill will increase while still preserving it as a movement skill. We feel like this change is paired with the animation changes we made to it, brings leap attack more in line with the fantasy and feel we wanted to have. Sure, whatever. Sword Mastery named to Blade Mastery now affects daggers in addition to the swords. That's cool. Increased base attack bonus from 40. Attack rating bonus is increased by a lot, from 28% to 40%. That's really good. Axe Mastery, same thing, the extra bonus to attack rating. All the masteries got attack rating. Well, at least Axe and Mace did. Pull-on Mastery got an increase as well. Looks like they're different amounts though. Spear Mastery got an increase as well. Throwing Mastery got a attack rating bonus. Increased base attack bonus. Is that attack rating or is that damage? It might be damage that we're talking about here. Either way, a buff's a buff. That's good. Added chance to not consume quantity per level. Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. So you throw a spear and it might not take a spear away from you. Critical sparks with throwing weapons will now replenish quantity. What? What? That's super cool. Barbarians run out of throwing weapon quantity far too quickly. Adding chances to not consume as well as chance to replenish will allow a throw barbarian to be viable without having returned to town frequently. That is an absolute win, and I'm really excited about that. That's super cool. Armageddon. Remove the hurricane. This is druid now. We're on druids. Remove the hurricane skill requirement for Armageddon. That makes sense. Increase the missile damage radius of Armageddon by 33%. So the damage radius of is that the whole Armageddon as a whole, or is that for each time, each little meteor that lands, it's increased? I'm not sure. Increase the missile drop rate. So it's just buffed all around, which is great. More attacks per second from your Armageddon is what this does. And this makes some type of range, either the individual meteors blowing up or the whole entire range of the Armageddon and where it would hit is bigger. I'm not sure which one though. Summoning. Druids can now have spirit wolves, dire wolves, and bears all summon at the same time. Thank you. Now we can do a summon druid, and that's cool. The developers say the restriction of druids being allowed only one type of summonable at a time has restricted the viability of this build and has hampered the fantasy of a druid summoner from living up to its full potential. I agree. We feel that a druid being able to summon all of his allies at once will make for a far more interesting and fun playstyle. I completely agree. Werewolf. Werewolf now only uses the new attack speed calculation that was originally introduced in the PTR. Raised werewolf attack speed cap from 75% to 150%. What's a raised werewolf? Is that just regular werewolf? Oh. Fury. Increase attack speed between attacks by 40%. That's good. Werebear. Werebear now only uses the new attack speed calculation. Okay. Raised Werebear attack speed cap from 75 to 150. Damage bonus per level increased from 8 to 15%. They really buffed the Werebear here. Base defense value increased from 25 to 40%. And that means like the beast rune where, you know, you put this on a barb and get this damage and base defense, you're a beefy boy. Defense bonus per level increased from 6 to 10%. Whew. Cannot be interrupted while performing attacks or skills. Wow. That's pretty cool. That's going to be interesting. Maul now grants 3% attack speed per charge. Okay, so Maul's the new Bear Frenzy. Or Bear... I guess Bear Frenzy. Yep, okay. Developer comments. We have debated on the best way to bring shape-shifting druids forward. After much discussion, we are going to commit to the modern way of calculating attack speed for the wereforms. We have rebalanced the werewolf to allow that form to reach even faster speeds than it could previously. As for werebear, we want to deliver the fantasy of a powerful, unstoppable killing machine. We've introduced uninterruptible attacks and skills, as well as increased damage and defense. While this will change the way players have played the werebear in the past, we feel like it is more in line with the intended fantasy. For players who love their fast werebear builds, we've added attack speed bonuses to Maul, but we also hope the new werewolf changes will offer them the same style of play as it is now the faster form. I like that. That's cool. I'm interested. Necromancer, Blood Golem. 20% reduction in mana cost applied per level. Attack damage increased about 20%. I never really used Blood Golem, so I'm going to be honest, I'm not an expert here. Fire Golem, 20% reduction to mana cost applied per level. Attacking damage increased by about 20%. Holy Fire level bonus per level restored to 1 from 2. We've heard your feedback that golems don't feel valuable enough as skills. Without giving them a larger overhaul, we hope that these changes will make them feel powerful enough to use more often. I don't think so, but it's okay. I don't think anybody cares about golems, but that could just be me. Paladin. Thorns now deals a flat amount of damage when hit, in addition to returning a percent of damage taken to the enemy when hit. So it'll not only when they attack, if a mob attacks you with thorns, they will get hit with a specific flat number of damage, as well as a percentage of the damage they did to you. Cool. Holy Fire. Change how the proximity bonus from area damage is calculated. It will now deal 200% damage to enemies at melee range. The maximum area damage values incorporate the maximum proximity damage bonus. Resist Fire synergy increased from 18 to 21. You know we're going to test that out. Holy Freeze. Change how the proximity bonus, the same proximity, I mean, every time they change these proximity things. 200% damage at melee range. The maximum area damage values incorporate the maximum proximity damage bonus. Holy Shock, same thing with the aura area damage calculated, 200%, yada yada yada. Sanctuary, same thing, Sanctuary. So all these damage auras have some type of area damage calculated difference. So now they have 200% damage to enemies at melee range, and it will show on the tooltip. Holy Bolt now deals damage to demons, additionally to undead. That's super cool. Fist of Hemis now damages demons in additional to undead. That's cool. After seeing feedback on the removal of area damage scaling in our PTR balance patch, we agree that it is an interesting mechanic that is worth trying to balance properly. We have re-implemented it at a lower damage scale than it was previously. Cool. Sorceress, Nova. Nova mana cost reduced. Great. Initial mana cost is now 13 from 15. I would love to Nova Sorc, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people agree with me that Nova Sorcs are going to be pretty fun, and I hope we can get one going that's going to absolutely dominate. Mercenaries, Rogue Archer can now use Amazon bows. Wow. Can now gain plus Amazon skill bonuses from gear. Wow, that's huge. Act 3, Mercenaries, Iron Wolf. Swapped Frozen Armor for Chilling Armor. That's good. Swapped Fire Bolt for Redemption Aura. Interesting. Very interesting. I don't know if Redemption Aura is going to be worth using, but giving them an aura is a step in the right direction, I'll tell you that. Barbarian Warrior can now gain plus Barbarian skill bonuses from gear. That's a good sign. A new Ferocious Barbarian is available for hire from Quakilik. I totally butchered that. These warriors cannot use two-handed swords, but are well trained in the art of dual wielding. Utilizing Frenzy, Taunt, and Iron Skin abilities, they lure enemies in and unleash a fierce barrage of attacks. Interesting. Very interesting. I'm gonna try it. We're gonna try it. Our hope with these changes are to continue to bring the non-Act 2 mercenaries up in viability so that they see increased usage, and to push each one further into their class archetype by allowing them to use class-specific equipment. Okay. I mean, the non-Act 2 mercenaries need auras, and it looks like they took a step in that direction here, but the only way that they're going to be viable is if they get either auras, curses, or war cries, and the good ones, you know, not the not used one, you know, like the good, like low resistance, like the good curses and the good war cries, or, you know, the auras. So a step in the right direction. I just don't think they're going to be too viable if they don't have auras, just plain and simple. Rune words. Plague can now be used on claws, daggers in addition to swords. Okay. Infinity, Obedience, and Pride can now be used by spears and Amazon spears. Interesting. Now the mercenaries still can't use spears, I don't think, but it's interesting that Amazon can now rock Infinity with a spear. That's pretty cool. Level area and monster updates. Let's see. Increased unique monster density in the new level 85 areas. Okay, that's good. Hopefully that means more boss groups as well. General and miscellaneous updates. Added player messaging from when a player tries to launch a game in an out-of-date patch version. Okay. Added message of the day capabilities in the main menu to allow us to share important game updates with all players. Good. Communication's always good. Improve the reliability of pets, summons, and mercenaries. Teleporting to the player instead of being despawned. That's good. AI improvements. If you guys watch me play, I definitely have a bone to pick with some of the AI, especially the bow mercenary, the Act 1 mercenary AI. So hopefully she won't just walk into death consistently. Anyways, Barbarian. Updated Barbarian leap and leap attack animation behavior to get a smoother trajectory that should keep Barbarian on screen at all times and reduce the jerkiness when he lands. Yeah, they said that earlier. Character to selection. Newly created characters will now sort at the top of the character selection list. Okay. Mercenaries. Mercenary UIs will now display if the mercenary cannot use a skill because they are too low level. Okay. We'll look at that. I have to see that to understand how that makes sense to me. Online. Added messaging if a player attempts to create a private channel with a name longer than the character limit. Okay. Added a /offline chat command to set your presence to offline. Okay. Vendors. Players can now buy pre-filled tomes and keys when using a controller. Well, that's nice. Performance. They did something. They did something for console. Let it be said, they did something. You can now buy pre-filled tomes and keys. I mean, not the W you guys were probably looking for, but it's one step in the direction of specifically helping console. I don't want to say stay competitive, but just keeping it viable, keeping console viable in general. There needs to be some differences, and it looks like they're trying to work that out, and they took one step, and that's okay. Performance. Optimize particle effects on some console platforms. Oh, another console thing. Added VFX quality option for PC players. That's already there, it just didn't work, I'm pretty sure. So this works now. We'll take a look. Optimize inventory quick move actions to reduce delay. Okay. Settings. The offline game difficulty scale setting will now persist between game sessions. Okay, I don't play offline. Additional option to choose whether or not to confine your mouse cursor to the game screen. Interesting. I just want windowed full screen mode. Can I have that? Added a VRAM usage bar in the settings menu. Cool. Bug fixes. Bug fixes. Okay, let's see that. Fix some issue in the UI that could occur when using large font mode. We'll see. Barbarian, fix an issue where your attack speed while dual wielding would be incorrectly calculated depending on which hand was held or which order they were equipped in. Fixed an issue with the Grimoire synergy from Fine Potion wasn't functioning. Alright, this Barbarian thing, where your attack speed while dual wielding would be incorrectly calculated depending on which hand. Okay. I hope the broken weapon glitch still works with Barbarian. We'll test that out. They didn't mention it. I don't know if that is a more fancy way of saying they fixed that. We'll find out. We'll test it. Druid. Fix an issue where hunger was not consuming mana if it was cast without a target selected. Druid Solar Creeper will now properly consume corpses and restore mana whenever the Druid is missing mana. Rabies now properly consumes mana when your attack misses. Okay. Paladin. Fix an issue where you wouldn't be able to weapon swap if you were wielding a bow with no ammo as a paladin on controller. Okay, didn't know that was an issue. Fix an issue where you cannot disable auras as a paladin if you're using a bow without ammunition on a controller. Didn't know that was an issue. Fix an issue where the Conviction Aura tooltip would display incorrect information. Okay. Fix an issue where Sanctuary Aura was not granting bonus damage to undead. Fix an issue where Sacrifice was not hitting moving targets. Oh, I do remember that. Yeah, that was an issue. Oof, man. Gameplay. Ooh, we got a lot. Alright. Gameplay. Fix an issue where using skill could be interrupted if a player dodges, avoids, or blocks while executing a skill. Fix an issue where uninterrupted skills could be interrupted. Thank God. I've been complaining about that and everybody said I was crazy. No, it was a thing. It's annoying. Fix it. Thank you. Fix an issue where the skills granted by items sometimes couldn't be used on a controller. Fix an issue where you could be blocked from talking to an NPC if a player initiates a trade request with you while you are talking to an NPC. Didn't know that was a thing. Fix an issue where weapon swap was not updating faster run walk on the game client. Didn't know that. Glad that's fixed. Fix an issue where you would not be able to observe another player's attack animation for the Rabies skill if the attack missed. Fix an issue where bindings for O skills would not persist after dying and joining a new game. Yes. Skills that have charges, that's what they mean by this, would lose their binding between games, which is really annoying, and I'm glad that's fixed. Fixed an issue where one of the Chaos Sanctuary seals was difficult to select. Oh man, did they watch my video? They watched my video. They're fans of me. They watched my video on stuff that needed to get fixed. Yes. Oh man. I mean, this 20 years, baby. 20 years of this bullcrap. Those Chaos Sanctuary seals, and now, oh, it's gonna be so great. I'm so excited. That's the number one thing I'm taking away from this. Fix an issue where Glacial Trail entrance wouldn't highlight. Okay. Fix an issue where fire enchanted monsters were doing too much damage on nightmare difficulty. Okay. Fix an issue where continue to move after running out of stamina could cause the stamina bar to not refill. Okay. Fix an issue where a room in Act 1 caves had misplaced walls. Okay, I thought it was misspelled. I was like, really? Fix an issue where a player could get repeatedly placed in a stun state and unable to execute attacks. Seems like there's a lot to that in that situation, or where that situation would have happened, so I don't know what that means. Fix an issue where a few melee skills would often miss when attacking moving targets. Offend, Fury, Sacrifice, and Zeal. Okay, I'm in. Fix an issue where a channel ability would stop casting if you were directly targeting an enemy with your mouse prior to casting and then the enemy died. That's cool. I mean, that really wasn't an issue. I just thought that's how the game was played. But it'll be cool to be able to continue to cast stuff even if our target is dead. Don't have to let go of that right mouse button, you know what I mean? Fix an issue where quick cast melee skills would sometimes fail to execute properly under certain circumstances. I wish I could quick cast, but I suck at it and I can't do it. Quick cast melee skills would behave differently depending on if they were bound left or right. Behavior is unified, so that left and rights are the same. Okay. Fix an issue where force move and quick cast skills could still operate when in full screen UI and legacy mode. Don't really understand that one. Fix an issue that could cause players to miss their attacks when using melee skills against enemies that are just barely within striking range and moving away. Yeah, I mean, melee needs to be able to hit things, you know. All the help they can get for hitting stuff is what they need, so definitely. Fix a rare issue where casting spells rapidly could result in incorrect mana costs in certain networking situations. Didn't know that, but I'm glad that that's not going to happen to me in the future. Fix an issue where replenishing and propagation item modifiers were not triggered when quantity was removed from the melee skill. Sure, whatever. Okay, fix an issue where character creation. Fix an issue where some players could bypass character name validation and create invalid offline character names. Those characters can now be repaired. Affected players will be prompted to rename their invalid characters. Okay, yeah, no more shitty names for you guys, okay? Controls. Fix an issue where using a PlayStation controller on PC, some button prompts could appear with an Xbox controller icon. I mean, whatever. We've been dealing with that for years. Fix an issue where binding a skill to skill key 2 without binding anything to key 1 would show the keybind UI not to show. Sure. Graphics. Fixed artifacting that could occur in certain VFX when using DLSS. Doesn't make sense to me, but is what it is. Fix an issue where players would become invisible if using fade behind a transparent wall. Didn't know that was a thing. Fix an issue where ether items were appearing invisible when standing behind transparent walls. What's a transparent wall? Oh, I know what they mean. Okay. There's not many. They need more transparent walls. Fix an issue where grass in Tomato Highland could pop in and out while traversing. Fix an issue where VFX could become missing after playing for an extended period of time on consoles. Fix an issue where VFX could appear as black boxes on PS4 in high memory usage scenarios. Fixed a DLSS related ghosting artifact that could occur when moving objects while the game camera is stationary. Sure. Localization. Fix some localization issues with skill tooltips. Okay. Fix localization issues related to user presence in Xbox social menus. Fix some localization issues in the settings menu. And fixed miscellaneous issues related to localization of chat commands. I assume that just means like where stuff is located when they say localization, right? Online. Fix an issue where the users in Europe or Korea were unable to block or report users. Yep, that's important. Blocking is important. Fix an issue where right-click context menu opens in the friends list would not consistently function. Okay. Where you could not highlight game names and join if using controller in the lobby menu. Fix an issue where you get stuck in attempting to join state if you try to join a game through the friends list while you were rate limited. I don't know what rate limited is. Fixed an issue where swapping between keyboard and controller on the front end rarely force you into offline character tab and prevent access to the online tab for a small amount of time. Fixed an issue on consoles where online friends who have their presence set to appear offline in their platform settings would appear in their friends list sorted into other online friends rather than offline friends. Yeah, if somebody's trying to ghost you, let them go. You know, let the ghosting commence. Fix an issue on Switch where if you remove someone from your friends list, they may not correctly get removed. Fix an issue that could occur when opening the Roger Cube when in the middle of a trade with another player. Auto-generated game names and password from game sessions generate using the main menu play button will now be hidden. Fix an issue when your character selection wouldn't persist if you exited the lobby. Okay. fixed an issue where users with the 3050 series GPUs would have incorrect default graphics settings. Fixed a crash that occurred when exiting the game. Fixed a crash that occurred during the Pandemonium event. I don't even know what the Pandemonium is. That like Ubers? What's a Pandemonium event? Miscellaneous crashes, stability fixes. Hooray! Settings. Fix an issue where your game difficulty settings on lobby would not update properly after changing characters. That's single player stuff. I don't get that. How to participate. To participate in the public test, you must have Diablo 2 Resurrected game license attached to your Battle.net account in good standing. In addition, you also need to download and install the Blizzard Battle.net desktop app if you have not already done so. Step 1, restart the app. Step 2, navigate to Diablo 2 Resurrected tab. Step 3, on Diablo 2 Resurrected screen, there's a drop-down menu right above the play button. Note, this may say install if you don't have it installed currently. Select PTR Diablo 2 Resurrected from this drop-down menu before proceeding. Step 4, click install to begin the installation process. Your PTR account will be created automatically if you do not already have one. The PTR is available in all support languages, and accounts from all regions are eligible to participate. For additional assistance, we will be installing and launching the PTR. Thank you to the community. Our team is so grateful for your support. Last year we launched Diablo 2 Resurrection. It's now 2022 and we're stoked to implement these new changes into our game. Thank you for playing and thank you for your continued collaboration. If you want to learn more about Diablo 2 Diablo Resurrected, check out our website here for real-time updates. Follow our official Twitter, or you could click on all the links below and follow our social media at our Discord. Obviously, like and subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss out on anything as well. And you can even get into Facebook, everything down there. We will make sure we have all updates Diablo 2, as well as maybe hopefully some Diablo 4 updates as well. And I hope to see you all in there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, hit that subscribe button, and I will catch y'all on the next one. Thanks so much. Peace, peace.
Me 11.